Alright guys, so today I have the fix to the magazine feeding issues. Now, let me start off by saying this worked for my gun. This does not mean it will work for your gun because I have not seen your gun and I can't tell you if it will work for your gun, but I can try to explain to you what's going on so you can determine for yourself if you think it'll work and try it, because the modifications that you're having to make, while they are permanent, if you mess up a part, they're pretty cheap, so you're not going to be out too much money. Now, on the first video that I did with this kit, the shooting video, two guys left some comments related to it. Joe Terrell commented, "I have the same kit since January. I still get the feeding issues that you are getting with 3 new magazines. It's not very reliable. If you figure out how to improve feeding, please let us know." Doing that right now. And the second guy, he's like, "Dude, heard about it. I want to ask if it's reliable to have. I'm asking since I talked to 3 other people that have experienced that it broke down on them, doesn't function or something. I want to have your input since I want to hear your side of the story." That's a little bit broken, but anyway, so with that, as far as reliability goes, this modification makes it, since testing it, I have not had a problem with reliability. Now, that doesn't mean anything else, but I've not had this kit break or anything, so remember, I haven't had it for an incredible period of time, so I'll update you as this kit gets older and I use it a lot more. But anyway, let me get on to exactly what you need to do, or at least how to figure it out. So this actually is not with the magazine. I completely disassembled my magazine. By the way, don't recommend that, because the 2 screws should just come right out, and they do, but the problem is they've bent the metal into 2 little cone shapes, so getting this out is very, very difficult. So if you don't have to take your magazine apart, I highly don't recommend it, but you can get to both of the gas tubes by taking off this bottom plate. There are 2 little gas chambers in there, so if it's leaking inside, then that's how to get to it. You don't have to take the entire mag apart. But anyway, I looked inside the feed channel, and it was just fine. I lubed it up excessively, and then I just decided, alright, well, this probably works. So I went outside and I shot it some, and I was still having the same problems. But I noticed one thing. On the first round, when you insert the magazine, I don't have the gun together, the other half is there. You insert the magazine, right, and you pull the trigger, but what I was noticing is that the magazine, since I've already made the modification to this, I'm just going to push the mag release, the magazine was coming out about that much on the first shot. So basically, what was happening, for my gun at least, is this very, very small, not going to be able to see it, but the part basically that allows the BBs to come up was getting pushed down by the gas pressure, and it was not triggering, so the BBs weren't getting released as reliably. So how do I fix this? Well, there's 2 things you can do, well, technically 3. The first option is kind of stupid, but you can just let it go and deal with it, which I highly don't recommend. But the other 2 options are either modify the magazine or modify the gun. I recommend modifying the gun like I did, because if you have a ton of magazines, then it's going to be really obnoxious to modify all of them. So should you be using someone else's magazines, you don't have to worry about their magazines not working. Maybe you have a friend that's got this exact same kit. You don't have to worry about that either. And also, if you decide to change back to an AEG, I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference, or if it does, you can just buy a new mag catch and keep this one for the kit. So basically what I did was I added a small amount of material to the lip of the mag catch that catches onto the magazine. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Some magazine catches, though, I will let you know ahead of time, they don't come out exactly like this, so you have to pull it out and screw it. So if yours is like that, then there you go. So this, as you can kind of see, not really, that I've added a little bit of material there, and the way I basically did that was just drilled a hole into this, and I got a screw that very tightly fit in this, and I basically just put the screw in, cut the head off, and then filed this down to where it fit, and they're fit in the magazine tightly in between here. You can see how it's more obvious right here. You can see the gap and that little pin sticking up that I put in there. Before, basically, you had a certain amount of play in between this, and this was just enough to cause your magazine to come down a little bit. So that's basically what I did. It's not very difficult. You could add material here pretty much any other way, but also if you do modify the mag catch, note that it is not just going to simply fit into your slot like this. You have to go, if your gun is made really in a certain way, there might be enough slop to where you can, but mine was tight. So basically what you just do is take a file. It's going to be really hard to see on video. Maybe you can see it better with my hand in there. Kind of. You can see where I filed it down. Basically, I just filed it until this fit in just fine. Before it just wouldn't go in because there wasn't enough space for that extra extension. Yeah, you can't really see it. It's not very noticeable. So, I mean, honestly, if you're concerned about aesthetics, you probably won't be able to even tell. But anyway, that's what I did to fix this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go outside and shoot this and show you that this is what is causing it to function. I've got another magazine catch that I'm going to put in here that's just a regular unmodified one, and I'm going to show you that yes, this is indeed a fix for it. Now, if you're planning on modifying the magazines, which again I don't recommend, you're going to have to come up with some way of adding material to this lip, and also if you add too much you can't really file it out. I mean, you could try using super glue or anything really hard that'll stay in there, but I really don't recommend that. That's not the best way of doing it. I think just modifying the mag catch is good, and if you ruin the magazine catch, you should just buy another one. These are really cheap, but if you ruin the actual magazine, these things are what, like 50 bucks? So you might as well, you know, I don't know. I would recommend working on the mag catch instead, because if you do ruin it, it's not as expensive to replace. Always modify the parts that are cheapest. But anyway, go outside and show you that this is what is causing it to function. Okay, so real quickly before I go out and shoot it, I figured I'd go ahead and show you. This is the other magazine catch that I'm planning on using first. It's not exactly identical to the original one, but it's pretty similar. And I just wanted to go and show you the modification, how you can see it between the unmodified one and the modified one. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and install this one and then show you that it's still having the problem with the regular one, and then install the modified one and go ahead and show you that this is indeed a fix. So we're outside and we're going to go ahead and take a look at how it's functioning. This is a regular magazine catch. You can't really tell, but this one's just a regular one. It's not modified at all. And I've got the regular 40 rounds loaded up. So we're going to go ahead and shoot it. Now, notice what happens on the first shot. Pay very close attention to the magazine. Alright, that probably wasn't visible. I could see it, but you probably couldn't. But we have a can with C# on it, because one of my friends is allergic to C# or something. So we're going to go ahead and shoot up that. So we're going to see how it's functioning. See how well it's feeding. This magazine seems to be feeding pretty well so far. Alright, that time it actually fed all 40 rounds, but the magazine is a bit loose. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Unfortunately this time we didn't have any problems, but you can kind of tell there's a little bit of play in the magazine, and vertically anyway, and what the modified magazine catch does is basically prevent that from happening. We didn't get any feeding issues this time, but it's kind of random as to when they happen. So we'll go ahead and load up another magazine and go ahead and install the actually functioning mag catch. Alright guys, we have another 40 rounds loaded up, and we have the modified magazine catch installed. You can't really tell,
on video. But again, note the magazine on the first round. So I'm putting it in, charging it. Now watch the magazine very closely. So you can see, unlike the last time, if you could notice, the magazine did not actually be pushed out by the gas pressure, and that was what, in my theory, was causing the feeding issues. But now it's feeding just as it should. And that's the last round. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this modification works for you if you decide to actually try it. But anyway, other than that, I hope you have a very nice day. Check out some of our other videos, and thanks very much for watching.
See, we are going to be shooting the I have two different sort of cool shapes and two different platforms. But turning around, two of these have fine. I'm going to see how that goes. So, as you can see, the two on the right have